We're on air now. We're going to do some introductions, okay? Hello, everybody. We are live. Town Curling Club watching the final game at the 5 and under bonspiel here at Frogtown. You have Caitlin Schramke here hosting and
Tony Perella
also hosting.
What a fun event here it has been this weekend. There's been some incredible curling on this ice from our 5 and under teams.
Incredible curling on incredible ice.
Big shout out to our ice crew here at Frogtown. I've been curling here all year and it's been fantastic ice. It's been swinging great and super fast. So yeah, I think people are going to be impressed with this.
I'm already impressed. All right, so you'll start to see the teams getting set up here. We've got Biff, the Frogtown mascot, amping up the teams playing in the finals here. We have 3 event finals happening, but right now you're watching the first event final, and the winner of this game gets a first-class ticket to the Nationals. No actual ticket, just a spot in the 5 and under Nationals. So Tony and I were talking earlier, and it sounds like he's been curling for his entire life. And so yeah. I'm excited to hear Tony's insights today as we watch this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, born and raised Duluth, Minnesota. My parents are curlers. My parents are decorated curlers, actually. Been curling Minnesota, plenty of state championships out of them. And, you know, grew up curling and watching curling every single weekend, basically, in my basement, you know. Every Brier, watched Kevin Martin win all of his championships and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I love curling. I love watching curling. One of my favorite TV sports, actually.
It's actually my favorite TV sport as well, because I know what's happening, and that for one is great. And then also I can really appreciate what I see people do out there.
Absolutely. And an aspect that I really love is you can actually hear the players talk. You know what's going through their head. We're going to be your translators today. The players don't have mics on this championship match, but you know, maybe on the next one, maybe at Nationals they'll have mics, but we're going to be translating. We're going to be translating everything that they might be talking about today. So,
and if we're not sure, we're going to make it up. But bringing up Nationals again, I'm glad you did that. This year, the 500 Nationals are being hosted by St. Paul Curling Club, so another club right here in the Twin Cities. And we're pretty excited about that. I am anyway. I think these teams all are. So we're really lucky in the Twin Cities. We have a lot of great clubs, and everyone wants to host 5 and under events because they're really fun.
Actually, last year I was at the 5 and under Nationals. They took place in the Chaska Curling Club. It was obviously a beautiful event. They have an amazing facility there. It's brand new, and the winning team there was Mellon. It was a super exciting semis and finals. You know, came down to the last rock type of a final. They're a Duluth team. I know some of the guys on that Mellon team and curled with them before. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's 5 and under is really, really fantastic curling. Like, these guys really know what they're doing.
I was also at 500 Nationals last year.
You were?
Yeah, I commentated on Friday on one of the games with Dave Dickinson. Yeah. So I missed you, but I was there.
This year, we'll have to link up this year at St. Paul Club.
Yeah, let's do it. Awesome. So we have 2 teams here playing in the finals. We have Team Bliven from Appleton and Green Bay Curling Clubs. So I think 2 members of the team curl at both clubs, and all 4 members curl in Appleton. And then we have Team Brown from Madison. And we have some fun facts about both of these teams that we're going to kind of share throughout the game here just to keep everyone interested. But stay tuned as we watch this game develop.
So starting off in the first end here, you can see a really typical setup. The team that does not have the hammer, which is red today, they threw their first one, a guard in the middle of the ice, which is part of the free guard zone, actually. So the first 5 rocks, you cannot take out a guard. You can move it, you can jostle the rocks around a little bit, but you can't actually remove that rock from play. So that sets up the rest of the end. It sets up, it sets up a stone where they can kind of draw one around and hide one in between. That's inside the rings. That might be a little bit harder to get out.
They're sweeping hard on this one, and they just missed their takeout. So that can happen. And even though they just played on this ice this morning, it was a different sheet, and the ice can change and evolve a little bit through the day. And so it looks like they were not expecting it to curl as much as it did, and they were unable to sweep to keep it on the line.
Now this opens up an opportunity here for red to get one buried in the middle. And when you don't have the hammer, that's basically what you're trying to do. You're trying to get rocks in the middle of the ice and shrink that scoring area for the team with the hammer. So it makes that last shot to the center of the rings much, much harder.
I love hearing people describe their curling strategy. Everyone has very similar strategies, but also everyone describes it a little bit differently. And this is one of the other things that I really love about curling, is learning about how people think about curling.
Now you can see with this takeout here, they've actually moved that broom out another 3 or 4 inches to compensate for that extra curl that they saw on that last takeout. They got a beautiful shot here. Let's hope this sits down behind the guard. Oh, rolled out the other side, but still a beautiful shot. Tough to make that one precise.
Yeah, those outside takeouts are some of the tougher takeouts. So Tony, it looks like we have 23 people joining us on the live stream right now.
I just got a text from a few of my friends. They texted me and said, tune into our broadcast. So
I love that.
I think the word is spreading like wildfire right now.
Yeah, if you're watching, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everybody. Come watch some fun curling with some relatively new curlers. This is exciting for everybody.
So Brown has elected to ignore that open Yellowstone in the back of the rings that they could take out. Instead, they are going for a draw, which was a bit heavy and sailed through the house.
What do you think about that strategy? Do you like ignoring the rocks in the back of the house, or are you the kind of person who likes to go after them?
So it depends on the team that I'm playing a lot of the time. The first end, I usually like to kind of keep it a little bit more clean, maybe throw my rocks into the house and have a few less guards. That gives me a barometer of the other team and gives me an idea, like how many takeouts are they going to be making today? How many draws are they going to be making today? So that's kind of how I like to play the first end. And, I would say this is a really aggressive decision that we see out of yellow right here, throwing rocks into the middle of the house. The safe thing to do would have been thrown it to the outside or peeled one of the guards. But yeah, no, I like it. They're going for points here, which is an aggressive strategy. I love it.
I like it too. All right, so on Team Brown, who are throwing the rocks?
Jake is throwing.
All right, Jake is throwing the rock. Are you sure?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh.
Or no.
I think it's, yeah.
Jacob.
Not a bad outcome from that throw. All right, so on Team Bliven, we have 3 players who it's their 5th year curling. So this is their last year of eligibility for 5 and under curling. And their lead, it's his 3rd year. So we have Johnny throwing lead, Casey throwing 2nd, Ben throwing 3rd, and Dan throwing 4th. Ben is in the house holding the broom, and Dan is throwing last rocks. And that's a little bit of a different configuration than is the standard configuration. A lot of times the person throwing last rocks is in the house holding the broom. You have a lot of freedom when you're kind of designing your curling team. So anyone can call the game from the house, and that's fine. But whoever throws last rocks is the skip.
Absolutely. And sometimes your best shooter, the person that you want to throw last, is a really good sweeper. So you might want to keep them sweeping for all the other team's rocks. It might give you a little bit of an advantage.
Absolutely. Yep. It's really critical to get your best sweepers sweeping as many rocks as possible. You hear a lot of communication between the team here.
In this one.
This was a real team shot. Everyone worked hard to make that shot happen.
That is a handsome jacket that Ben has on. I believe his name is Ben.
Yes, the Hams jacket.
Yes, that is very handsome.
It does look great. It looks great. I wonder where he got that. Or, importantly, I wonder when he got that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Team Brown?
Yes. So we got a few members. We got Adam Brown here, is from the Madison Curling Club. It's his 3rd year curling and his 1st year skipping. That's pretty exciting.
That's very fun.
We got Jake Hernert. And fun fact about him, he is internet ordained, and he has officiated 3 weddings.
Maybe somebody will want to get married today after the games are over.
That's a high probability.
Anything is possible. That is a fun fact. Who else do we have on the team?
Next, we have Jacob Bordel out of the Madison Curling Club from Madison, Wisconsin. And he put in his curling accomplishments. I've never accomplished anything, and I've been told that I'll never accomplish anything. So kind of a little bit of a more negative curling accomplishments answer there, but
I don't believe that.
He's in the finals, so I think we can officially say he's accomplished at least something.
We're gonna have to ask him to change his fun facts because he has now gotten to the finals.
Yeah. And then finally, for our lead on Team Brown, we have Therese. And Therese, I chatted a bit with her this morning, and she loves horses.
That's awesome.
And she was talking about sheep and dogs and cows and things like that. And so pretty interesting to get into animal and agriculture. I think that's kind of her thing.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
I related to cows, I went to a supper club with Therese once.
You did?
Yeah. After a bonspiel in Madison.
Oh my gosh.
A bunch of us went, and so that's where I first met Therese.
Small world.
Yeah, it was a great time. I curled 1 year out of Madison, and so I have a lot of friends there. And anytime I go, I just try to, spend some time with as many people as possible. So
that's amazing. Doing out of town bonspiels is one of my favorite activities. It's so good to go see new clubs, meet different curlers that you normally wouldn't meet at your home club.
Totally. And I love watching how other clubs host their bonspiels, and then you get really great ideas for hosting your own. We're up to 26 live streamers. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are live from Frogtown Curling Club in St. Paul, Minnesota.
All right, let's see where they put this one. They're putting this into the middle here, hoping to get it in the 4-foot to get a second scoring rock. Leaving this one short isn't all that bad, as it provides another center guard for the team that doesn't have the hammer. Nothing wrong with that shot, totally fine. Looks like they're lining up a short run back here. If they make this shot, they will be sitting 2. You can see that yellow on the left side of the screen is just out counting that red that they threw.
Do you have any concern with the jam here with their yellow back of the house?
Yeah, a bit of a, so not too much of a concern, honestly, because if they jam on that one, it doesn't look like that red is going to be counting any of their yellows out.
Okay. So it could happen, but we're not concerned about it.
Ooh, he's coming with some heat on this one.
Ooh.
Oh boy, they knocked their own out there. Sometimes clearing up the ice isn't like the worst thing, though. Having give themselves an opportunity to maybe make an easier one on the next one.
Yep, and they do have the hammer, so having a more open front of the house doesn't hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
We like to talk a lot about plan Bs on my team, so when we call shots,
they're critical. They come in handy. Yeah, when I'm on my team, usually before a shot, we'll say, like, what's the pro side miss, meaning
try to say the miss is light, the miss is heavy, the miss is wide, the miss is narrow, just so we all know whether we're sweeping or calling the line.
Exactly.
We know where we want the miss to be if the miss happens. So they're drawing in. There's 3 kinds of shots in curling. If you're new to curling and you're here watching some of these teams that are newer, we'll give you the high levels of the game, high level overview. So there's draws, guards, and takeouts. Guards are the rocks that sit in front of the house to protect the house, where you can put rocks behind them for scoring. Draws are the rocks that you want to stop within the house. And takeouts are the shots you throw when you want to hit another rock and move it out of play.
I'll tell you something about this Skip. He likes to throw hits. I can already tell. That first one, he came out really, really fast. And he's lining up another hit here. In my opinion, a draw is, definitely a shot option here. You could do a bit of a heavy draw onto the red that's on close to the button, bump it back 1 inch, and you're scoring, you're taking your one home, and there's kind of very little risk of anything else. But
do you think they're trying to get multiple points here with this shot?
Yeah, for sure. If they hit this in the perfect spot and kind of hit the red in the blue right on the nose, right in the center of the rock, they can definitely have an opportunity to get 3 here. So that's definitely an option. But I would say the difficulty level on that is, quite a bit higher.
So this is Dan's 5th year curling, and he did skip in the 2023 5 and Under National Championship, and his team won in 2023, and they got bronze in 2022 and 2024. So I think that he has a lot of confidence.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was a beautiful shot. Hit and roll for 1.
All right, so coming into the second end, red will have the hammer. That means they throw the last rock at the end. So Bliven and I overlapped on the 5 and under circuit. He was always much more competitive than I was, and I have definitely lost to his teams before in 5 and under events. So I know very well his abilities to make shots.
Oh, and we can see it here today.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, they're
Yeah.
making lots of shots.
And I couldn't be happier. I love it. I love losing to good teams.
This is really a sport you can get quite good at in under 5 years. You know, it just takes a lot of throwing, a lot of time on ice. You know, a club that lets you practice as much as you want, and really that's all it takes. And you can be a very good 5 and under. You need 4 people that do that are committed to doing that. But yeah, you can really easily be a 5 and under, compete in these 5 and under nationals, I believe.
Yeah, and they didn't have 5 and under when you were 5 and under. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I was ever really eligible for 5 and under. You know, I was curling when I was, 5 years old, basically. You know, my parents took me out there and I was goofing around on the ice. So, but yeah, it's a relatively new event.
I believe so. I think it's just
correct.
2019 or 2019, 2018.
That sounds right.
Something like that. It has not been long. So I'm not sure how well you can hear, but from where we're sitting, we can hear the teams talking to each other. Communication is a huge part of every single curling shot. Everybody on the team is doing some amount of communicating if you want to make sure you're executing the shots the way you want. The sweepers are telling the person in the house how they think the weight is. The person in the house is calling line. A lot of times the person delivering the stone can let their sweepers know if they put any positive or negative on the rock when they let go. So communication is a huge part of this, and a lot of times you'll hear that when you're watching these events. You said that earlier. You can hear just what they're thinking.
Exactly. That's one of the fun parts of curling, watching it on TV. Ooh, this one needs a curl for him. Hey, they removed 1 stone. You got to do a job with every shot.
Yep. I don't mind that.
Another interesting factoid about curling is that they have little stopwatches usually on their hip. And what they'll do is they'll time the rock as it goes from that back. There's one line that kind of runs from the back side of the house all the way to the green line called the hog line. We call it the frog line here at Frogtown.
I love
that. And then based on that time, they'll know generally where it's going to end up on the other side of the ice, if it's going to be, really high up, right in the middle, or through the house.
And that sounds pretty straightforward when you explain it that way. But sometimes the ice is different speeds at different clubs, even at different times of the day. So they have to be taking this information in, thinking about what they know already, and then making their decision pretty much on the fly on how they want to adjust their delivery.
Exactly. And also, the left side of the ice and the right side of the ice might not be the same. There might be subtle differences. Maybe you threw 10 rocks down one side of the ice, but you haven't thrown any on the other. And so that will completely change how you want to judge speeds on either side. And the best teams in the world, they talk about that before the shot. They'll say, hey, we haven't thrown one down on this side of the ice yet. And they'll say, okay, sounds good. I'll throw it a little harder.
And all of this changes throughout the game as well. So once you've thrown down that side, now you know that it's less frosty, so there's less friction between your rock and the ice, and now you don't need to throw it as heavy. And the game is constantly evolving, so there's a lot to think about out there. So we have yellow calling a hit on this outside red rock.
He called it hit and roll, but in my opinion, it hit and stays just fine here. Ooh, come on, let's get a piece of it. Ooh.
That line did not go the way they intended.
No, you can see when they were throwing that same shot the opposite way, it curled maybe about a foot.
Yep.
And that shot stayed almost completely straight. I thought that was pretty light takeout weight. Normally that curls about a foot.
Yeah.
But it stayed completely straight. So that's something for the skip to note in their mind for the next time they throw that line.
Another fun thing about the Frogtown Curling Club, you can't see it from your live stream feed that you have, but if you've ever been at the club, they have extra space around the playing ice, and there's a couple areas where you can come down to the club, walk out into the cold area, and watch curling from several feet from the curlers. So we have a lounge outside of Sheet E. We call it the Sheet E Lounge. And today we have a few spectators cheering on their teams and playing some bonspiel bingo while they watch.
Tell me a bit about bonspiel bingo.
Oh, yeah. So it actually, it's like regular bingo, but any square is like, okay, you see a curler make a triple takeout. And so when you're out there on the Shitty Lounge, you're watching up to 6 games at a time. You kind of watch all the games and you look for different shots to happen. You listen for different calls to be made. So there's all different things on these sheets, and you just try to get a bingo. It's just another fun thing to do while you watch curling.
I love that. I don't know if I've played that before. I'm gonna have to join in.
Yeah, you'll have to head on down to the Shitty Lounge and check it out. We're sitting in the commentators booth here at Frogtown, aka the unfinished loft. So we have a close to bird's eye view of the game right now.
And if you've never been up here, I highly recommend checking it out next time you're at the Frogtown Club.
And I would talk to somebody
before you come up here.
Before you do that. One of the main things I've learned about curling is you don't want to upset the ice makers, you also don't want to upset the club managers, because they're who give you the best curling experiences.
Yes.
Yeah. With that, I want to give another shout out to the ice makers here at Frogtown, really the ice makers everywhere. They make all the difference in the quality of your game. They make all the difference in everything in the curling season. Really, they work almost every day, multiple times a day, making sure that ice is good. And here at Frogtown, they've come a really long way in the last 12, 13 years. The ice is excellent now, and competitive curlers will come here and use this ice to practice all season long. Do you ever come here to practice?
Yeah, I'll come occasionally. On the weekends, if there's not groups around, I'll come out and throw some rocks, throw some hits. I have one of my teams is all brand new curlers. It's only this year's their second year curling. And
that's really fun.
It's fun to come out with them, teach them about the sport, get them to throw some rocks. You really improve a lot more.
Repetition.
Practicing and it, getting feedback. You don't want to change too much mid-game.
Right.
In your slide and all that. So especially fun to come out and throw a few rocks on an odd day.
Absolutely. And it can be tough to find practice ice at clubs. So you got to pay attention to what's going on. But it definitely exists. Sometimes I like to sub for other teams to get a few extra repetitions in. And ideally then I get to throw lead. And I feel like it's easier to, on the guards, it's easier to adjust the things on your shot that you're working on.
Absolutely. If you guys are looking to get into Frogtown, you can do it this year. Join as a member and come and just sub for teams. Meet people around the club, and next year they'll say, "Hey, we really like so and so. Let's make them a full-time member of our team." That's a great way to get in and get on a team of good curlers, and you can learn a lot.
Definitely. I've seen that happen numerous times at St. Paul and at Frogtown. If you sub enough, people get to know you, and you're probably really fun if you want to curl anyway. So it's a great way. You'll meet lots of great people. It's a really good time. If you don't live in Minnesota, though, go check out your local club. They'll be happy to
Show you around.
to figure out, yep, how to get you in.
Pretty quiet end here. There's only 2 rocks in play, and we got 3 more rocks to throw here. So I'm expecting either a 0 or a 1 out of red here, depending on what happens. If they can get this buried, the shot buried here, and force a yellow, a miss out of the yellow team here, they could easily get a 2. So.
All right.
We'll
and at
see
what
what
point
happens.
in an end like this would you start considering trying to go for the blank instead of trying to go for 2?
It really depends, I would say, on what the score is and the situation, the team that I'm playing against. I would say at this level of curling, I would maybe take my 1 here. Just
Okay.
draw it in. You can practice your draw weight. That might come in handy later in the game. And teams steal up very frequently, I would say, at the 5 and under level. It's not like you're playing Brad Gushu or something like that where they're going to make every single takeout. So yeah, I would just take your 1. This is a great opportunity, still a great opportunity for 2 right now. This one needs to get there though.
I think we're gonna make it.
There we go.
And there it goes right behind that guard. It's pretty nice.
Oh, gorgeous shot.
So you'll see a lot of sweeping happening out here, and you'll notice that the person in the house, if it's not their team's rock, you'll see them sweeping sometimes, but they can only sweep after the tee line. And the tee line is the line that bisects the house. So there's a lot of rules in curling that it's really good to know before you play, but you can also learn on the fly as long as you're curling a friendly team who likes to remind you. A nice looking draw by yellow. Might not have curled quite as much as they wanted it to.
But the thing that you got to see here is that you forcing them to make a shot.
Yep.
You know, they have to make a hit here in order to score in the end. If they make it, they'll get 2, which is awesome result for them in my opinion. Anytime
Definitely.
you can get 2 is a win.
Yep. But yeah, that's a good point. Yellow is forcing them to do something with that rock if they want to score. Oh. We're heading into the third end here.
Steal a 1 for yellow in that one. So definitely a good result for them.
Yeah, their plan worked.
Like I said, you got to force the team to make shots against you. You can't just, give them 1.
Exactly. So they're sweeping hard on this first rock here. Looks like they're trying to get it into the house. And they succeeded.
We've seen this a few times. Yellow's going into the house, and red has been ignoring it, just going for that corner guard. But it looks like now they're going for a freeze. You can see that it went just behind the tee line.
That's one of the hardest decisions for me to make as a skip. When they put a rock in play, and I know that I should throw a guard, it's deciding to go after it. Because you always want to.
You always want to. You know, I have noticed I rarely use like corner guards, especially in league play.
I agree.
And so it's almost really hard for me to like actually go after them. Sometimes I will bias towards just a draw to the tee line on the wing of the house.
Sure.
But this is
still leaving it open.
Still leaving it open,
but starting with something in play.
Starting with something in play, and you know that's giving you an option to maybe score 2, 3, 4, later in the end, right?
Great rock. Drawing right down to that yellow.
Totally perfect. You're right on the tee line there.
Really good.
All right, they're gonna try to pick this one out. Little hit and roll. It's coming with a little bit more weight than I was expecting.
But it's moving more than.
It's moving a lot.
Wow. Well, maybe they can pick it up from the other side. Wow.
That cleaned things up.
That was good sweeping. Because that rock moved a lot more than anyone was expecting, I think. That's one of the tough parts about throwing takeouts down the center line is it tends to move sooner and more than other parts of the ice.
As a sweeper, I love sweeping rocks that are hits down the center line. You can really see it move over on that center line because you're looking down from the top on the rock and you're like, oh, it just jumped. You can see it.
Yeah. I like the clubs that have the 3 lines down the center.
Oh, those are the best.
Because you can really see a lot more. It helps a ton when you're trying to know what's happening when you're sweeping. All right, so it looks like we have Casey throwing his rock here on Team Bliven. Fun fact about Casey is he works on a hot air balloon crew headed by a fellow curler at Appleton. That's another thing about curling, Tony. People have the best hobbies.
They can come from all different walks of life.
Yeah, and you know, you're never just a curler. You've always got some other hidden delight in your life where maybe you're a hot air balloon captain, maybe you're a skydiver, maybe you're a competitive mountain biker. There's just a lot going on out there. It's really great.
Especially in these 5 and unders, right? People, they're adults. They start curling as an adult. And, they have other hobbies and they have other lives that they were doing before this and came to curling. So it's just a really diverse group.
Do you ever wonder what your other hobbies would be if you ever didn't curl?
I'm just so consumed with curling. It's unbelievable that.
You told me you were walking and curling around the same time. So.
Yeah, basically. My whole mind is grown up with curling in the forefront.
I get it. That was a really nice corner guard. We were just talking about how rare it is that you want to use a corner guard, and now there's a corner guard there. That was the 5th rock, though, and so this is okay for yellow to take out now. And a nice takeout.
Successful. We call that type of a takeout usually a peel, which you can throw takeouts obviously at different weights, right? And so
sure,
the highest weight that you throw it at is usually about is usually called peel weight.
And why would they call it peel weight?
I've always thought it looked like a banana peel, but
Oh,
I
okay.
actually don't know why it's called peel weight.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
a great explanation. That's a really great explanation. You know, when I ask these questions, sometimes I might have a guess, and sometimes I have no idea.
Why do you think they call it peel weight?
I don't know now. I think it's because it looks like a banana.
You know, banana peel like splits off.
Yeah,
right?
you're peeling away that rock. And yes, okay. I think that's it. I think that's it. And if you're joining us today, it looks like we have quite a few people streaming now. Thank you. If you're here and you love what you see or you want to know more about curling, go ahead and subscribe to the Frogtown Curling Club live stream. We love knowing that people are interested in watching curling. It really it motivates the club to make sure they prioritize having the live stream, and I think it makes them happy if they can have like triple digit subscribers. So consider subscribing. It's free and you get to see more curling. A nice hit, and that yellow rock hangs around.
And it moves it to the other side of the house. Maybe there's a little bit of different ice that we haven't seen before. It might curl more or less, so might have the might be a little bit more difficult takeout, but it looks like they're actually going for the draw here. Which is just fine.
It can be a tough decision on those.
They're saying all there on this one, so. And it's curling. It is curling early.
They're trying to sweep right now to hold the line. So when you see just one person sweeping, it's likely because they want it to curl more or less than it's curling right now. If you see both sweepers sweeping, they want to carry it as far as they can. And it looks like they tried to sweep it a little extra at the end once they realized it wasn't going to come down onto that rock. And I suspect that's so they wouldn't have trouble taking it out later by having their rock stuck behind it. So we've got Ben throwing his second rock. And Ben's fun fact, one of his fun facts here is that he once touched Leroy Butler. And as someone from Wisconsin, I understand why you want the world to know that.
Tell me a bit about Leroy Butler.
I mean, he was a Packer, a Green Bay Packer.
Okay.
And it was in the 90s, right? When we all really, I'm the wrong person to ask about too much for like football fun facts, but I just know that we all loved Leroy Butler when we were in elementary school. And Ben is probably a decade younger than me, but so he probably grew up with his parents loving Leroy Butler. And when he got to meet him, like that was cool. We'll have to ask him later.
Nothing wrong with a little center guard there from Bortel. Yellow is sitting 3 right now. Not in too much risk for red as they have the hammer, so they have an opportunity here to still get 1 and limit the damage per se, but a big opportunity for yellow if they can force them to make a shot here.
This is a really great game. This is a really great match.
Low scoring so far, but I've been on the edge of my seat.
Literally, I'm also on the edge of my seat. You see a lot of people wearing short sleeves out here. It's about, what, 40 degrees in here? Maybe up to 42 sometimes because it's warmer outside today. But you put a lot of effort into sweeping.
Absolutely.
And so everyone here who's playing, I think, also played at 8:30 this morning. So they have been warmed up for hours, and they're definitely staying warm out there. So don't be surprised if you see people in short sleeves.
And sweeping all weekend tires your arms out.
Oh my gosh,
especially that first tournament of the year. You're sore for a few days after because your arms are flexed over that broom for so many minutes.
Yeah. Every time I start curling in the fall, I think about how I should be doing some like push-ups and some different strength training throughout the
it never
summer.
happens, that doesn't.
Yeah, and then I don't do it. I forget. By the time May comes around, I forget.
I'm in the same boat.
And then you suffer again. At some point, don't you think you just keep those muscles? Isn't that?
There's some say. Some say that.
Some would say.
And really a beautiful draw there to freeze on the back, giving them an opportunity to get 2 here. They're hoping to just mimic that shot now.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. Now an opportunity to get 2.
Let's see what happens.
Just got to be touching the 8-foot, not even touching the 8-foot, halfway into the red. Halfway into the 12-foot gets you 2 points here. So big opportunity to get 2 and tie up the game.
Another exciting end.
We hear some communication between Therese and Adam here, discussing the weight that they want to throw. Sign of great curlers. Oh, they're really hammering this one. Looks like plenty. Looks like it's going to get there just fine. Sit. Just stayed in the rings. Nice throw. If there's any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. I'll keep my eye on the YouTube chat.
Ooh, great idea. All right, so we're all tied up, starting the fourth end here. Red put their rock in the house, and yellow is calling a takeout. We have Johnny throwing lead here right now.
As we remember, this line runs pretty straight. You do not want to throw this wide.
So now they're realizing that, and they are sweeping to try to put some curl into it. It is working.
Looks like they're going to get this one beautifully, though. Nice.
Yeah, that was a great sweep. I love it when I watch the sweepers succeed. It gives me hope.
They're kind of unsung heroes a little bit.
Oh yeah, I love singing the praises of my sweepers.
I loved the weight on that takeout too.
Yeah,
we would call that control weight.
Yep.
Which really is throwing it to your sweepers. It's slow enough that they can kind of manipulate it, make it curl less or curl more.
Yep, that was a really great call on the weight and great execution. Same thing for Therese. Great weight, and she used her sweepers. Another takeout call here.
Ooh, this
They're
one
a little bit wide.
Little wide on this one, and like we said, this has been a pretty straight line, not too much curl here, and we just saw the victim of that straight takeout ice.
So red is putting another rock in play, or that looks a little light, so maybe they're not putting another rock in play.
Oh. See, now this one is a little bit close to their other red, potentially leaving a double takeout where they can remove both reds.
Yep.
They were really looking to split the house up there, and that would eventually force yellow to just draw for one.
But now they have the opportunity for a double takeout.
Ooh,
a lot more weight on this one.
Yep, a little bit wide. I think they're going to get the left red, which is just fine. They'll be sitting one after this. Oh.
They roll outside a little, and that looks like it is out of play. All weekend, this team has utilized a lot of rocks at the very edge of the 12-foot, and I've seen them use the biter bar a few times and have rocks count that way.
For those of you who don't know, the biter bar is a metal stick that is 6 feet long, and it measures the distance from the very center, what we call the pin of the circles, all the way out to what the edge of the house should be. Because not always those circles are perfectly lined up. So the biter bar can be a useful instrument for determining if a rock is in the house or not.
Definitely, because these houses are either painted or vinyl. I don't know what they do here, but regardless, some human being has to apply them, and they do a really great job. There's no way to be sure it's perfect, so we have different ways of measuring to make sure we know where rocks are and if they're in play.
Brown elected to come into the house with that last one. A few options you could have done there is put a center guard up and protect your one at the top 12. I love this position of the one at the top 12 there. Ooh, they might get a double here.
Wow, that was so close.
Really,
Great shot,
really
though.
close.
Great shot. And we had someone from Frogtown confirm they paint the houses now. So that's even harder work than using vinyl, I think. But it looks great. All right, so we have Jacob throwing his rocks here on Team Brown. So they're trying to draw behind that yellow there. They're sweeping for line right now. It's curling more than they anticipated.
This one might crash into that center yellow.
Not what they wanted here.
Maybe a little extra sweeping would have pushed that yellow even a little bit further through the house.
That's such a hard judgment call to make
Such
on
a
the
hard
fly.
one.
Your instinct is to sweep less and hope that it doesn't hit it harder. Sometimes you do want it to hit it harder. It's a tough call to make. So I'd have a hard time saying which of these rocks is closer right now.
I don't know how much it's going to matter at the end of the end here. It looks like they're going to try to take out this red rock.
Some answers we don't need to know.
Some answers we don't need to know. Great point. Judging from the ice they're taking, when I say ice, I mean the distance away from the rock. They're going to throw this one a little bit lighter because they want it to stick around.
And they know this line is straighter. That's a great delivery.
Beautiful.
All right, they need it to keep moving. Trying to get it to curl a little more. Ooh. It did what they wanted, but not quite as much as they wanted. They're still sitting shot.
They were really hoping for their yellow to stick around there, but still an opportunity to they still got to make a shot here. Brown still needs to make one. They took a little extra ice, I can see on that shot, and definitely was the right amount of ice. It curled up to the spot in the ice where they wanted, just a little light.
This does leave them a little opportunity for promotion on one of their front reds.
Absolutely. And the nice thing about promoting that too is you're going to be buried behind a guard of your own color.
Yeah.
So if there's a run back there, you know, they're running your rock into the house, which is great for you.
Exactly. Another fun fact here about Ben. I'm really glad that they did this. He has run a sub 7-minute beer mile.
That's incredible.
Is so incredible. So he's a real athlete is what I've just learned. I mean, I was pretty sure before, but now I'm entirely sure.
Most clubs only curl half the year, so you got to find something to do in the summer.
That's right.
Why not run a beer mile, right?
Running beer miles in the winter sounds even worse, but summer seems like a better time.
Absolutely.
I'm now wishing that I had fun facts for every person I've ever met. This is good. we have any comments from the fans? Because we'd love to engage if anyone has questions out there.
Chow Tech Productions asks, are you saying the ice makers aren't perfect?
The ice makers are absolutely the best ever.
Yeah, they are.
I would
amazing.
never say anything bad about them. Unless it's directly to their face.
Ice making is an incredible science. There's so much that goes into it. The humidity in the curling club, the temperature of the cooling system underneath the ice, the acidity and the pH of the water that goes onto the ice, all these sort of things, the different types of pebblers and flutters that they use. It is a really, really interesting science. I encourage you guys to get into it. The curling world needs more ice makers. So if it's something you're interested in, definitely go talk to your local ice maker.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have some really great ice, and great ice makers are what you need for great ice.
We're seeing some friends in the chat. Cat Blue, awesome local Frogtown curler. Curls on Wednesdays and Sundays on 2 great teams. We got Emma Damasis. She's a local groupie, not a curler, but a groupie around the club.
We need groupies too.
And Amanda Clore, a Duluth curler, moved down and curls at the Frogtown Club now. So we got a lot of good friends.
Amanda is also a representative of the Twin Cities Curling Association.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
It's always good to see some friends volunteer around in the curling world, you know?
Absolutely. And that reminds me, in a couple weeks, Frogtown is hosting another bonspiel. They host quite a few bonspiels, and this one coming up is the Aurora. And the fun thing about the Aurora bonspiel is that it's just for women, and this is the 3rd year running it. And we have, I participate in it. I don't help organize it, but there are some great organizers, and they have gotten the bonspiel completely filled up already.
Wow, that's awesome.
32 teams, I believe, from 15 states, or 15 clubs, 7 states, 1 province. It's great. So
that's amazing.
Lots of opportunity to get in and curl with your people, whoever your people may be.
And if you're a man out there and you just want to come hang out around and watch the Aurora Club, there's going to be a lot of great curling that weekend, so highly recommend.
Absolutely. Yeah. We love everyone to come and spectate at any given time. We love support. We love meeting new people. We love there's nothing a curler loves more than curling other than talking about curling. So
absolutely. Well, maybe having a beer here and there. That might come pretty high on the list.
They would like to have that beer while they talk about curling.
It's a whole ambiance that comes together at the curling club.
That's a good point. Sure. If you give a curler a beer, they're gonna want more beer and talking about more curling.
So now we got a big opportunity here to score 3 for yellow. 3s are rare to come by,
especially in competitive games.
These guys are really sweeping hard to get it there.
I'm
confident they're gonna get it there.
Come on, guys, you got it. Good sweeping.
Oh my God, they're huffing and puffing. God, they really worked hard on that one. It was close.
They worked hard. Again, that does leave an opportunity for a run back or promotion. The yellow can still use that. Dan has one more shot after this. We'll see what red does. It looks like they're going to try to use their front rack to get a well-guarded shot rack in the house.
Absolutely. This is not the easiest shot. This is a more difficult shot in curling for sure. But Adam's made a lot of tough ones already tonight, so I don't see why he can't make it. And he's got two rocks there that he can raise into the rings. 2 perfectly fine, eligible rocks, and just try to cut down the scoring surface. If you don't get it all the way quite into the blue, that's totally fine.
Yep, they have that second yellow rock that they can go ahead and try to outcount by just getting it even full in the 8-foot. That's the white ring. With these promotions, your line and your weight are very important. You get a little wiggle room on some shots you can have more or less weight if you have backing. With the promotions, you really want to hit it with the right weight at the right spot.
Okay, so they're coming maybe with hackish weight, I would say, maybe some backline weight in order to promote these. And
the line looks pretty good.
Line looks really good. They're trying to promote the center red here.
Right, they're getting ready to sweep that in.
Okay, beautiful shot, and that is out counting the second yellow.
And it's really close to the same for the first yellow, but definitely cuts down that scoring area, like you were saying.
A little bit more speed on that one would have been, and if they hit it right towards the center, it would have been completely perfect shot. But I mean, at the difficulty level there, you got to be happy with the result.
Yeah, I count that as a made shot.
Absolutely.
And we have 3 games going on in the finals right now. There's a second and third event for this 5 and under bonspiel. Only the first event winner gets to go to the 5 and under nationals this spring in St. Paul Curling Club. But the second and third event finals are also happening here. The winners, they get bragging rights, which is great. And just like a nice end to the weekend. And so there's 2 other games going on. If you happen to be searching for that team that you knew was playing, but you're not seeing them, they're going to be on either sheet E or sheet A. And there's some good games going on those sheets too. So
check it out.
Feel free to check it out if you want. And to make it easier to flip back and forth from the sheets, go ahead and subscribe to the Frogtown Curling Club. They'll love it. But this is a really exciting end here.
One thing I'll say about these 2 teams is,
oh, they're trying really hard to get it by.
It's gotta sit down now.
Wow, that is a great shot.
Oh my gosh! Wow,
that was so tough. That was so tough.
The fines are going wild.
Wow, there's cowbells everywhere.
I will say these 2 teams are really talented curlers. They both deserve to be in that nationals. I can see them going far in the nationals.
Yes,
this year if they choose to go.
Fortunately, I think there's quite a few more 5 and under qualifying events. This is just one of the first ones this year.
Is that right? That's awesome.
I think there's 23 qualifying events. 22.
Oh my gosh!
There's definitely at least 20.
How many teams get into the 5 and under nationals?
I think it's 24 because 24? Then I think there's 23 qualifying events, and then the club that hosts gets to provide a team from their club.
Oh, wow.
And I just saw the email come out from St. Paul. Any 5 and under teams that curl at St. Paul can sign up. They have to sign up by a deadline. If there's multiple teams, they'll have them play off with each other to pick who gets to go.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Now let's see where they elect to put Teresa's rock. Going for a corner guard.
They're committing to the guard.
One of the great things about this live stream at Frogtown is you can see exactly where the person is throwing the rock, and if they're online because of how the cameras are set up. It's a really awesome viewing experience, I think, from the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it definitely helps practice your couch skipping skills. Because when you're watching from your couch, you can make every single call perfectly.
And you always make the right call when you're sitting on the couch.
Absolutely. You never miss a shot. You never miss a call.
I really like the position of that corner guard there.
That's very well executed.
Really short hit and roll. You don't have to roll it too far in order to get under.
Yeah.
If you're red on the next shot. And so.
Yeah, that's great. Let's see where yellow puts theirs.
This looks a level heavy. It might be coming into the rings, which is totally fine. You know,
I think they're tapping theirs a little bit.
Oh, beautiful shot, right on the nose.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Might opportunity here for maybe a double takeout and a hit and roll under the guard.
Yeah, it looks like they've got a 1.5 or 2 feet of separation there. So that should be enough for the double if they want to try that out. Looks like they're trying. The first priority looks like the roll. The second priority is the double.
Yeah.
They
That's
really,
smart curling.
they love their rock to hang around and be guarded. And they love it even more if both of the yellow rocks disappear. All right, well, they got the rock out.
Not too bad. They did a job.
Yep. That's one less rock they have to worry about. So we've got Casey throwing his rock here on Team Bliven. Casey has also qualified to go to nationals before. Also, it looks like Casey and Dan were just curling in Scotland last month.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing. So exciting.
That's even cooler than curling at Frogtown, do you think? Is that, do you think?
Slightly.
But not much.
Not much.
Not much. Still cool.
Still very cool. Still very cool.
We're just impressed they left Scotland to come back and curl again here.
That's my main worry about going to Scotland and never return.
Yeah. I mean, it's every curler's dream, I think. But you're right. You have to be careful. What if you never leave?
So we got Jake here throwing second stones for Brown. And I chatted with Jake a little bit before the curling match, and he is a big beer guy. He works in the beer industry, actually.
Very cool.
He said he's worked, he's been working actually on the brewing side and also on the kind of the logistics side of making beer. So that sounds like a really fun occupation. And
yeah.
When you work in beer, I mean, you fit right into the curling world.
That's right. That's similar to ice making. There's a lot of science in beer making.
Exactly. He might be next on the list for ice making at his club.
I think he should learn ice. Madison has a pretty great program. They teach their members quite a bit about taking care of the ice, and I think that's really good. So
absolutely. You have to have a good culture around ice maintenance for everybody in the club, because every little speck of dirt, kind of accumulates over the year and makes ice a little bit harder to play on throughout. So you really have to have good kind of respect for the ice from everybody in the club.
Yeah. So they're coming in trying to take this out, it looks like. So close.
Jake also sent in on his questionnaire before the tournament. He's always been an obscure sports fan, and I think what he means is that's why he's into curling. Thankfully, in my opinion, curling has become less and less of an obscure sport. It's grown so much, thanks to the broadcasting on the Olympics and whatnot over the years. And it's been really, really fun for me to welcome new curlers into the sport. It's
absolutely.
I would say it's not as much of an obscure sport as some might think it is.
Yeah, it's getting more and more popular, and I love that. I've only been curling for about 7 years, but one of the things I like to do is take my friends that don't curl and say, I wish we could spend more time together. Why don't you join one of my curling teams? And so far, I've recruited 6 people into curling.
Wow, yeah. That's amazing.
So I basically just formed 2 entire teams for my leagues and said, let's do this. Come on.
Oh, my God. The curling world needs more people like you.
That's what I try to tell people.
Well, I really love the placement on both of those rocks from Jake.
Yeah, great shots. Great shots.
A couple of great shots. Yeah, we're setting up maybe opportunity for a big end here for Brown. So they are down by 2, so they could use it. They could use a big 2 or 3 from here.
Absolutely. Hey, we've got Ben throwing his first rock here. Looks like they're trying to draw in and outcount Brown.
I would say difficulty level on this shot is high, quite high. No backing. You got a really tight guard, I guess you could say, in the top 8 foot there that you need to come around. But he's made some tough shots. Ben made a few pretty tough shots, so I'm optimistic.
Absolutely. They're sweeping it now from line, it looks like, and maybe they think it's a little light. Line certainly looks pretty good from up here. They've got to walk the line between making sure it gets there and making sure.
Little head and roll. I don't dislike that. I think that works. It opens up now maybe a freeze for them on the next shot onto that red that's in the back 4 foot.
Yeah, I think so. Nice delivery here.
Beautiful delivery from Jacob.
Looks like it's doing just what they want. They roll out a little, but I don't think they mind.
You might in the background hear the crowd going absolutely insane. That is because there was a beautiful kind of hack weight takeout that took place on sheet E in the second event finals. Feel free to hop over to that live stream or rewind it if you want to see it.
I don't think they can rewind,
you can't rewind
the live stream, but you can go back and watch after it's complete.
Okay, timestamp it and
Timestamp
maybe
it.
go back and
Yes.
go back and watch.
It is 12:47, so 12:48.
12:48.
Yeah. I have watched quite a few of the live streams here, so
Okay.
I've definitely tried to rewind shots.
Okay, they are doing a draw here, trying to freeze on that back red, like I said on the last one. I said a moment ago. It's coming in a little bit heavy. This one's got to sit down. The line looks good. Ooh, they're trying to sweep it out the back now.
Oh,
ooh, they
it
have
hangs
been
around.
Successful.
Red is trying to draw in there, have another rock that's counting, hopefully at the top of the 4 foot to protect that. There's a lot of backing in there, so they'd like to, looks like they'd like to kind of guard that and still be counting.
Love the shot call here.
Oh, great, yeah. Sweeping it in. Good communication.
Beautiful
out
delivery
there.
and shot from Jake here.
Really great shot.
Okay, yeah, that really guards up the button. And we might even see a bit of a, nope, when you see two rocks close together like that, they call that a gun. So no matter where you hit that front rock, that back red is going to go in one direction. You know exactly where it's going to go. But it looks like if they hit those two, that red is probably going to go over the top of the yellow. So not quite lined up perfectly for that shot. That wasn't what they're calling, but it does the job, and it guards up the center of the house. So
yep,
good
definitely.
shot from Jacob there.
Oh, so Dan's first rock here. Fun fact about Dan, he lives 2 blocks from Lambeau Field. So it sounds like if you want to tailgate, you gotta
Dan's house is the place to go.
You gotta make friends with Dan.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't been to a Packers game, even if you're not a Packer fan, I get it.
No,
I
would go to a Packers game.
It is a great time. You got to tailgate. You got to tailgate for several hours. You're gonna make friends. Every time I've gone, I've talked to people cheering for the other team. Nobody cares. It's a good time. So, and the important part is to tailgate afterwards too.
Oh, really?
Because the traffic is really terrible after a game. It's a small town and there's a lot of cars. So just settle in. You're there for the whole day. But if you can go to Dan's house, it seems like
it's kind of the place to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've had a beautiful shot just performed by Dan there. He's
that was great.
Right on the button. They're really thinking about what they should do on this one. What is your opinion? What do you like? Yeah,
there's a lot going on here. I think I would try to draw and get right in there, but I'm red, right? So I need 2 points here. This is tough. I'd probably, oh man. I wonder if there's an opportunity to promote their back guard there. Do you think that's there?
Promote the guard that's on the left of the screen?
Yeah. The one that's closer to the button, and try to maybe edge out that yellow. Because I think right now is a pretty important time to see if you can get more than 1 point.
Definitely.
And I don't know if you can get to it in a way that's useful from the open side.
For sure. Yeah, I think that there's a few shots here, in my opinion. So
yeah,
you got the draw, I think, is not a bad shot. I think you would want to play it with, back house weight to move that a little bit.
I think so.
Definitely, I think that shot is there. That yellow is almost completely open. You can see from the shooter's angle. Another shot that they might want to consider, they might wait till their next one, but there's that hit and roll off their own red on the outside. That looks pretty decently lined up. I think if you can hit it shallow enough and move that yellow directly to the left, you can give yourself an opportunity for 2. Might leave a double, though.
No, this one looks like it's going pretty well. It might be curling a bit more than they thought.
Oh, rattling those top 2 is not terrible. If they can move that over a little bit.
And they move it a little, but not much.
Let's see how this turns out.
It's pretty tight in there. No, all 3 of those rocks are very close together.
Yeah, there might be an opportunity to hit that guard and move it straight back into the yellow.
Do you think it catches on the other red?
I think you'd have to look at it from down on the ice, but it's pretty close. I think you could get a piece of that top one. Granted that there's only 1 stone left, I don't know if you're going to get there. I think red is probably hoping for 1 this end.
Well, let's see what yellow does with their last rock. Do you think they're guarding? I didn't watch the call.
Yeah, it looks like they're guarding.
For a guard.
Yep. Also, drawing right in there is a good option too. Makes their next shot much harder.
Yeah.
If you don't place this guard perfectly, basically there's 2 shots from red, right? They got the heavy draw bump for 1, and they also have that hit and roll off the red on the outside for 1. Maybe 2 if they hit it perfectly. So
I'm excited to see what they decide.
Looks a little wide. I think they should sweep this for curl.
Looks like they're Now they're getting on it. They said it's wide and it might be a little light.
Ooh,
They
like this one. They really like this one. That is maybe a perfect placement on that shot.
That was a really nice finish. That takes away that heavy. Takes away that heavy draw.
Yeah, the heavy draw. Yep. So they almost have to throw the hit and roll here. They're looking at the gun. Maybe they see something that I don't.
I think it's so hard to see from the camera.
Totally. They'd have to, if they're going to make this one work, they're going to have to hit that top red on the far left side of the rock to try to get it moving as much sideways as possible. I also don't hate the run back on the left one. I think if you hit that far left guard straight on the nose, you can hit and roll over into that yellow for two. That's difficulty is high on that shot though. But I think it's there.
Do you think that's easier though than the hit and roll off the other one? What do you think? It's closer to the center line, so you get a little more forgiveness on your line.
Now he's looking at raising
it.
that one into their own red.
Oh.
Not the straight back.
It's hard for us to see that angle from the live stream because you can't see the guard very well on the top down view.
Yeah.
But it looks like that angle might be there. They're certainly checking it out.
I think the straight back, there's a double opportunity on the straight back.
And no matter what they call here, we're gonna see a cool shot, I think. I'm again on the edge of my seat.
We got a lefty too. Adam shoots left. More uncommon in the curling world.
It is not super common. And a lot of the left-handed people I know still throw right-handed.
Why do you think that is?
I'm guessing someone just taught them and
they only had some right-handed shoes, maybe.
Yeah, or just they're like, someone was teaching them and they're like, okay, I'll do that. Like, if it's too confusing to teach me opposite, I'll just learn your way. It's hard being a left-hander in a right-handed world. Okay, this one's
a little bit wide. He might get a piece of it.
It's falling out a lot faster than they'd hoped, but where did that rock end up?
I'm going to have to check it out on the live stream here. Oh, it didn't quite get there.
He got caught on that jumble in the top there, so.
I think he threw that at pace. It didn't get enough curl out of it.
Yeah. That's okay. These things happen.
A lot of curling left.
Yep, we've got 2 ends left, and a lot can happen in 2 ends.
Oh, yeah. It's never over in curling.
It's never over. Because when you're done curling, you go and hang out and talk about curling.
That's a great point.
It's how I've made some of my very best friends in this life, is talking to teams that I've just curled against. They're sweeping. They want to get this in the house. They now have a couple-point lead, and their strategy is that they're going to put rocks in the house until red does something to make them stop.
Sounds like a good strategy for me. And when you're up by 3, you really want to keep things as wide open as possible so you have an opportunity to hit out every single rock that's in the house from red. So throwing it in the house is a good strategy here. And for red, they have the opposite. They have the opposite strategy. They're trying to put as many guards up as possible to get an opportunity to score 3-4 on this end.
Yep. Because if they score in this end, they will not have the hammer in the last end of the game. And the hammer is an advantage. So this is a nice guard by Therese. It's not quite a corner guard, but it's not a center guard either. So I think it's
fine.
It's a really great place to be when you have the hammer and you're trying to score a few points. I like that a lot. They've decided they need to sweep this.
They're saying 3. The sweepers are calling out 3, which means just above the house. And they're trying to sweep it to get a few more inches on it so it actually gets in and touches the house.
Yeah, if you have 2 really effective sweepers, you can take a rock
12 feet?
Yeah, quite a bit further than it would have gone anyway on its own. That's why the sweepers, it's so important. Communication about the weight, about the line, and then really getting that effective sweeping. It looks like these teams have both put quite a bit of practice into their sweeping techniques.
Absolutely.
So Tony, you just mentioned a 3. You said that was right above the house.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little more about that number system?
Yeah, absolutely. The number system goes from 1 to 10. And 1 is meaning just over the hog line. 2 meaning kind of in the middle of the guard zone in between the house and the hog line. And 3 just in front of the house. And then if you divide the house into each of the sections, where the very top of the red's 12 foot, that would be a 4. A 5 is the very top. If you imagine a bar going all the way across end to end of the ice, that'll be a 5. 6 is the top 4. 7 is the button, and working its way all the way to a 10 to the back of the ice. And so that's if it's going to be a draw or a guard that's in play. And then hack weight would be just a bit further than that, going down to the hack, which is the starter's block that they're pushing off of, and then board weight. And then some people call the next heaviest weight control, normal, firm, and peel. And firm and peel are kind of rarely thrown, only if you really need to move a lot of rocks around in curling. It gets harder and harder to throw heavier and heavier stones accurately.
And for me, I don't think I can distinguish my firm from my peel. Like if I'm throwing more than normal, it's whatever you get at that point. Like I don't think I have any nuance beyond a normal takeout weight.
And for like your regular curler, it's kind of unnecessary to like have that level of distinction. Right. Most people just call it takeout weight.
Absolutely, yeah. And especially with my newer teammates, like, it's either a low weight takeout or a high weight takeout. Like there's 2 for the beginners.
Perfect.
But yeah, if you start watching more and more curling, you'll see the skips have hand signals that they use to show the thrower what weight they want. Everyone's a little bit different, but you can kind of start to pick up on what they're calling, and you can get really into it.
Yeah.
So it looks like yellow's going to guard their 2 rocks here. Probably come right down to them though.
We saw a peel on the last shot, totally fine to just peel that out of there. I think they were going for the ones in the house, but that's a successful shot in my opinion. I'd be happy with that. That was the pro side miss.
Definitely.
For sure to peel out that guard. Looks like this one's coming into the house. It might actually come behind our 2 that we have in the house. Oh no, looks like it's going to stop.
Right down to it. Might get a little separation in there. Might get a freeze. Okay.
Might be a bit of a double opportunity here for Brown.
But I don't think there's a triple.
No.
I think those yellows are too close together for that. No bonspiel bingo for the Sheediers on the triple.
Takeout here from Jake. He's coming with normal plus weight, I'd call.
Yeah, you can tell the sweepers are running pretty quick here. All right, they got their sweeper getting as much sweep on that yellow that fell back behind the tee line as they could. Yellow now has a chance to decide what they're going to do. Looks like they're going to clear another guard.
Limiting the opportunities to get more than 1 point here for red.
Yep, it makes sense. They care more about red not scoring than protecting their shot rock. But I think they would like a rollover.
Yeah.
Their rock to hang around and guard their shot rock. lots of weight here. Trying to hold that line. They want a little roll. They got it. It's exactly what they called.
Might have left a little opportunity here for Brown to put a red buried in the middle of the rings here. So we'll see what they decide to do. Oh yeah, they're gonna freeze right onto that yellow. Almost impossible to get it out if you can freeze on that yellow, because you're not gonna come with high weight on it, because you gotta have it swing around the guard in order to get it out, and it's guarded up. So
yeah,
the run back is a pretty difficult shot.
Now, would you have come in from this side, or would you have come in from the other side?
It depends what the shooter would prefer to do. But yeah, I mean, personally, you got another obstacle on the left here that you got to maneuver around.
Right. That's what I was wondering about.
But he might have liked that side. Looks like this one didn't curl up quite as what they were thinking, but
that's straighter side. We've been seeing that all day. It's easy to forget when the ice has one of those kind of a strange spot.
area in it.
Yeah.
They're looking at maybe potentially doing a peel here.
Looks like they settled on putting on the rock in the 8-foot.
Yeah, few different options here. You could definitely do the peel. That makes it so there's nothing for Brown to draw behind. They could also take out the yellow, or take out Brown's red that's hanging around on the outside. But they have two already that are out counting it, and it's pretty difficult to, I think, get both of those out with a double takeout based on how they're organized in the rings. So they're just selecting, let's get another one in there. Maybe we have an opportunity to get 2 or 3 or 4 here. So
definitely. I think everybody out here right now is probably starting to get a little bit tired. They're going into their 4th hour of curling today, and like we talked about, they played 4 games of pool play.
Then 2 more games.
Quarterfinals, semifinals, and
this game.
Yeah, so this is their 7th game of the weekend. Woof. That is a lot of
Can you imagine sweeping for all that? Oh my gosh,
that's why
your arms are jello.
I like to skip. Ideally, you have a couple people who like to skip. You could take turns on some of that sweeping.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's a lot of hard work. And for the more competitive, higher level curlers, like 7 games in 3 days is not that much. But when you're 5 and under curler, you just simply haven't had that many years to do that, and it's going to be a lot.
And also, these 5 and under curlers, they're hanging out after the game as well.
Yes.
Having a bit of fun, getting to know the other.
They're participating in the fellowship of the
sport. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So they've had a long weekend.
Long weekend, but a lot of fun too.
So much fun, yeah. And that's another great thing. You meet some people who've been curling the same amount of time you have, and now you just expect to see them around at the different events for years and years to come. It's really a great time.
That is the fun thing about curling. You get to know so many different teams from different clubs when you're bonspieling.
Yeah. You learn about bonspiels at their club hosts. They say, you guys are great. Come to our club.
Exactly.
I don't know if you can tell, but we like curling.
We love curling.
Yeah, that's a good point. We love curling. Let's put another rock in the house here. They're saying clean the ice, clean only. They think the weight and the line are fine, but they think the weight is a little light. They're calling them on all the way. Sometimes you'll hear them say clean only. That means that they like everything about it, but they don't want that rock to pick up any dirt, any little piece of dirt or rock or gunk, and the rock can lose its weight. It can lose its line. things can get really crazy really fast. So sometimes they'll just say, clean the ice. We don't want any surprises. I have not seen any rocks picked this weekend so far, though.
That's amazing.
So that's a testament to the curlers who are not leaving debris on the ice. And that's a testament to the ice crew doing a great job in between games.
Absolutely.
Again, if you're live streaming here with us, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It looks like we've got more than 40 people. We love that you're here. Come back and watch more curling. Everything about it is a good time. Ask us questions, find a curler, befriend them, join us. We love having people join. The club has set up this commentary all on their own. It is not through any professionals. We're freelance. We're not professionals. I don't know if you could tell.
Might sound professionally done, but
everyone will be shocked to learn. But so we would love it if you go ahead and subscribe, and then also join the world of curling if you have not already. It was a nice hit. They rolled over.
Oh yeah, buried underneath now. Maybe an opportunity this next time to guard up their rock that they have in the house there. But there's if they throw a guard that's not in the rings, there's plenty of ways to get at that. Not any easy shots, but they got two reds on either side that they could try to run in or hit and roll off of, or make a really difficult kind of bump shot.
Okay.
Caitlin, do you want to give the fans a little bit of commentary on the format of the tournament here today?
Yeah, so there are a few ways that they will set up bonspiel tournaments, and for more competitive events like this, rather than doing the multi-bracket Schenkel system, here they're doing pool play. So each of these teams played 4 games of pool play. I think there were 5 or 6 pools, but either way, each team played each of the 4 other teams in their pool. The records were taken into consideration. After each draw of pool 6, there's 6 pools. And so it's 30 teams here. After each draw, 2 members of each team threw draws for the last shot draw. They tried to get as close to the button as possible. Those were measured, and then they got a last shot draw average of the distance. Whichever team had the lowest average, which means their rocks were consistently closest to the button, that would be used in the event of a tiebreaker. So a lower number is better. Only one pool needed to pull on that last shot draw average to decide who advanced, and then so the top 8 teams were seeded 1 through 8 and went into the quarterfinals. So like the first seed played the 8th seed, the second seed played the 7th seed. There were quarterfinals and then semifinals, and now here we are at the finals. And then 8 teams were the next 8 teams. So teams 9 through 16 were sorted into the second and third event, where they just played semifinals and the finals. And those are the teams curling on sheet A and sheet E right now. So this was set up in a much more competitive way than your standard fun bonspiel. So these teams have done a ton of curling this weekend, and I've seen such great teams out here this weekend. It's been a real treat to watch.
Thank you for that description. That was awesome.
I studied.
I would love to say a little bit about what the decision here was. So
oh, yeah, please.
They were looking at two different shots. They were looking at one, the tick on that yellow that's in the back of the forefoot there. That one is completely buried. You can see that really nicely on the live stream. So they would have to come at that with kind of a more lightweight takeout to just try to pick that one out of there and roll out.
Mm-hmm.
Difficulty level on that shot, very high. What they've elected to do is do a hit and roll off of their own shot to take out that one in the back. Another incredibly high difficulty shot, but what they think is probably more likely to be made. Obviously, that's why they elected it. And we'll see if they make it. It's coming out a little bit wide, but it's coming for them. It's roll.
Here it comes.
They're trying to hold this one. Ooh, it's close. They're on and off. Oh.
That was a toughness. It was a really great shot call, really. They put a lot of thought into it.
That one curled a lot on them.
Yeah.
Because we've been saying that side of the ice hasn't been curling too much, but
there it went.
We haven't seen the inside out over there.
Yeah, those always seem to curl more.
So that always do seem to curl more. The ice can have a dishing effect that happens on it, because if you think about so they use this thing called a pebbler, right? And it's a sprinkler that goes up and they walk up and down the ice. They stand in the middle of the ice and they go like this, right? And they move their hand back. I'm doing the motion live that you can't see, but they move their hand back and forth with the sprinkler, and it shoots droplets of water up into the air, and it lands on the ice and it freezes. And more water actually lands towards the center of the ice. And so it creates this kind of like dishing effect, very, very slightly. And sometimes those inside out ones can curl a lot more than the outside in ones. So people have their preference of what they like to shoot. I like outside in mainly. That's what I have always grown up throwing, the outside in.
Yeah, that's my preference. That was kind of trained into me when I learned curling.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now I'm afraid of the inside out. Yeah. So we just want to take a second here. We're heading into our last end. I'm sorry, our seventh end. There's still
two more ends. Yep.
I got excited. It's such a fun game. So we want to thank some of our donors for this weekend. So Backstory Coffee has donated. Steve's Curling Supplies has donated. I think they also donated some raffle items for the weekend. Craig's Curling Shoes is a sponsor, a donator. So Craig's Curling Shoes, if you're not familiar, Craig will convert any shoe into a curling shoe for you. It's pretty cool. What that means is they'll add a set of Teflon sliders, or some people use stainless steel sliders. I don't think that's as common. And then they give you a gripper, and they'll coat the toe of your pushing foot so you have less friction when you deliver rocks. It's really cool. Look into it. Thanks, Craig, for making a donation. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Backstory Coffee. We had Dakota Curling Supplies out here this weekend. They set up their shop. They do a really great job. They're located in Lakeville, Minnesota, which is not far from here, but they will travel to bonspiels all over the Midwest all year round. Really great. We appreciate that support. So we also want to go ahead and thank Jim McMahon for being the Spiel official. He'll settle any disputes, any judgment calls. We've had so many great volunteers at this bonspiel and other bonspiels. We love it. Rebecca, who curls out of Frogtown, she both curls in 5 and under curling, and she did a ton of work to get this event to be a qualifier as a 5 and under event. Awesome job. Her whole team volunteered a ton to set this up. So Peter Granlund and Jules Hikoki, they all worked super hard and made this happen. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting. We appreciate it. And now we'll get back to our last 2 ends of curling here.
That was awesome. Thanks for saying all that.
I love saying things. Tell us what we got going on here, Tony.
So we have the yellow team up by 4 points right now. So red is doing everything that they can to steal here, or to get a few points. So what they've decided to do is they threw a guard. Looks like it got tipped over to the side, and they've just thrown another draw behind it. They just made a pretty beautiful run back. It moved the guard out of play, but there is a free guard zone. So what the team is doing is they are replacing the rocks to be exactly where they were before the shot.
We don't see a lot of that happening in these more competitive events, but it does still happen.
What they were aiming for is to actually take that back, the one out that was inside the rings, but it just overcurled a bit and took out the guard. So a good shot went to waste.
It's tough when that happens. It was great for red though.
So red is continuing to do everything they can to just pile rocks over on that left side behind that guard. I like the decisions that they've been making. Ooh, this one looks like it might come in, remove the guard, which that is fine. We are outside of the free guard zone now. Similar shot to what we saw before that had to be replaced. The run back, nicely done. Now those two reds are not guarded by anything, so red will put up another guard right in the middle. Opportunity, definitely an opportunity to get more than 2 here if red makes all their shots. More than 2 would make this a curling match, absolutely.
Absolutely. This has been a great game, a great match. We've seen some really good curling.
It's amazing that these teams have only been playing for 5 years. They look like seasoned vets out here.
I wouldn't want to play against them.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would love to play against them, but I'd be scared.
Should we challenge them? Do you think they'll want to go another bout after this?
Like 2 to 4?
Yeah.
Or 2 on 8?
2. Maybe we can pull some crowd members in and we can do
yeah, I'd say we try. I think we try. Maybe some short curling.
There we go. Some short curling would be great. Maybe we just threw 4 rocks in, not a full game.
There you go. I would also say that very few of these people would turn down
another curling ad. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
They'd be like, "What's an 8th game?" We've already been doing this all weekend.
All right, now we got a fairly simple takeout for Ben here. He's definitely looking to get a double. If he hits it right on the nose, he will like to get both out.
All right. We have a question in the chat. Is there a 5 and under senior division? I think it was a joke, but I'd like to say there is a senior division and there is a 5 and under. There is, wow, great shot.
Love the shot there.
And the rock hangs around.
And it's buried.
Wow. This is exactly what they wanted.
Is it shot rock? Yeah, it looks like it's shot rock too. So
yep.
Brown is probably going to have to do something with that eventually, but freeze is just fine.
Yep, right now
a tap could be totally fine too if this over curls a bit. Tap their own.
Definitely.
Also, a guard here is fine if they come up a little light. They need all the guards they can get.
Definitely.
That looks a little light. They're going to have to go on this one.
They're working really hard here.
Nothing wrong with that shot. Maybe an opportunity here for a double. They'd have to hit that top red pretty thin. The red on the right.
They're talking about their options.
Taking out one is just totally fine, though, in my opinion. The one thing you got to watch for is taking out your own yellow in the back of the rings. That would be the one treacherous part of taking these out.
They're sweeping hard to hold the line.
Oh,
And another
lovely double takeout.
excellent double.
And the crowd is going wild.
There's a lot of cheering. If you can't hear it, it's getting pretty loud in here.
It's exciting.
It's
My
so exciting.
adrenaline is pumping.
I know. Just imagine if you're out there.
It's very important in curling to stay cool, calm, and collected. It's a game of, like solace and, mind, power.
Yeah. You can't lose your head. Like, you've got to stay focused. You got to pick whatever mantra works for you and try to keep your head in the game, because really these ends can change in a single shot.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a
Beautiful shot.
Great rock.
It looks like it's pretty tight to see who's shot here. I don't think they care too much. They're gonna go after it, try to pick it out.
Yeah, I think they have enough of a buffer that they don't mind if they lose all the rocks.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And honestly, taking out their own might not be the worst thing.
No, it's not. It takes away the backing. That's what's
looks
curling.
like they're gonna hit the guard here.
Quite a bit more than they thought. Oh, wow, that was a heavy takeout too.
Opportunity now for Brown to maybe do a hit and roll here
to get enough separation.
Try to get some separation between her two reds. Reds
I like that.
To double.
So with that, you wouldn't want too much weight, right? Because you want your rock to stick around. Maybe like board weight.
Yeah, maybe board weight would be good here. I also don't hate bringing kind of the play to the middle, throwing up just maybe like a draw to the button here might be fine, because there's a lot of house to draw to, even if they make this draw perfectly.
Sure.
Yellow, I'm guessing yellow's gonna, oh well. Actually, no, I like the call. This is their best opportunity to get three here. Since they have hammer, Brown has hammer here.
Yep.
If they freeze on their own, yellow will come back, try to get one or more of reds out, and hopefully there's a jam available, and red has the opportunity to draw the 8 foot for three.
Let's see what they can do here. I definitely think this is still a good game.
Ooh, this is curling right out of his hand.
How much do you think throwing left-handed affects your line and your delivery. It's got to have some effect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially on high weight takeouts, if something's guarded perfectly from the left side of the hack, it might not always be guarded the same on the right side of the hack. So
Sure.
there's
So you got to keep it in mind when you're curling against somebody who's left-handed.
Absolutely, especially at this level, with this high level of curling, definitely keep it in mind. You know, if there's a run back takeout that might be easier from one side, or a takeout that's easier from one side, you might save that for your left-handed curler.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like to have my vice throw every takeout so I can throw a guard, but it doesn't always work. But I try.
Absolutely. I say, you know, especially like in league curling, sometimes players have a high preference to throw guards or throw draws or takeouts.
Sure.
Throw to their strengths. You know, you want made shots as a skip.
Especially in league play, where, you know, teams have like more variation in skill. You gotta know what your team members like to throw and what they're good at. You gotta think about that, because there's like the pro shot and then the best shot for your team.
Absolutely. So they are going for a double takeout here. This has got to curl up. This might split the uprights. Oh, baby.
Oh, wow. That is
now a big opportunity here for Brown. Brown has an opportunity for 3 here if they make this draw. They're back in this game.
A wide open draw to a wide open house. They just have to touch the house here. And they will be going into the 8th end down by just 1 point.
There's daylight for Brown.
Both of these teams have really played hard all weekend long to get here.
It all comes down to this, truly.
It really does. This is exciting. Now, when you're making this shot, do you have your team draw down to the rock that's already there, just to give yourself a little buffer, a little something to...
Yeah, it's always Skip's preference. So if you think about it this way, you know, you have buffer if you throw down to a rock that's already in the house, but there's a little bit less house to draw to. If you think about the distant, you know, how much house there is looking off the side versus looking down the middle. A lot more house down the middle than there is off to the side. So
yeah, definitely.
It's mainly your personal preference. You know, I would think by this time of the game, you would have your draw weight down pretty good, but you know,
definitely. And he's already thrown this line.
He did throw this line on his very last shot. So
there's definitely something to calling something that you've just done. So they're going to sweep. They just want to make sure it's there. They really can't hurt it if it's not heavy, and there's no reason why they can't give themselves some confidence. Make sure it's all there. Great draw.
Beautiful draw. Perfect
Great rock. That was quite the end.
Oh my God, the crowd is going wild.
I love the crowd participation here at Frogtown.
And what they want, they just want to see people make shots around here. It's all about just making good drilling shots.
We've seen them cheer on all the teams just this afternoon here. They're like, we saw a good shot over there. We're going to make some noise. This is a tight game. This is a competitive game. I'm glad I'm here to see it.
The chat is lighting up.
Awesome. What do we got going on here?
Amanda says this game just got a lot more interesting.
I think it was interesting already, but thank you for joining in here.
Yeah, I love the participation.
I love that too. More participation. We want it.
So Brown is looking to steal. A steal of 1 would be a big win for them. Just trying to throw up a center guard here. Like I said, a center guard allows them to put more rocks in the center of the house, which shrinks that scoring circumference that that yellow can draw to at the end of the end. So they're just going to put one in the corner here, corner of the house. hopefully give them an opportunity to hit and roll off of it later.
Absolutely.
But Brown is just going to ignore those. They're just going to keep throwing rocks to the center, depending on what happens.
That's definitely a good strategy, though. Yellow has hammer for the first time in several ends.
Other center.
Brown is going to take advantage of something in the house, and they're going to
Freeze up to it.
Yep, sit right on that.
Oh, it looks like he changed his mind. He's electing to put another center up.
And that's okay. Sometimes we got to change our mind.
Oh, absolutely. They call the game chess on ice.
I've heard that. That's one of the comparisons that I like better than any of the others.
Another nickname for the game is the roaring game. Have you heard that one?
I have heard that one.
Because the rock makes a roaring, grinding sound as it moves over the pebble.
Yeah, and I imagine when they first started playing this game in Scotland, however long ago, they were playing on frozen lakes, and I'm thinking the ice made a little bit more noise then, because there's probably some more shaking and rattling with those rocks too. But if you're ever at the club, come listen to the rocks. They definitely roar.
It's invigorating.
It is. Yeah. It makes you want to grow more. It also makes you thirsty.
Thirsty for what?
A beverage. A lot of curlers really love beer. I get thirsty for whiskey.
My Wednesday team that I curl with, we usually bring a bottle of whiskey try something new everyone kind of pitches in. It's super fun.
Dang. I curl at Wednesdays in St. Paul, but I'm going to find a week to come drink your whiskey.
Absolutely.
I'll bring some to share.
The more the merrier.
Spoken like a true curler. This is a great draw.
Ooh, they're electing to come in to the house. Very nicely thrown.
Really
There is an opportunity there for Brown to come and sit on top of it.
Yep.
And they would be dead buried behind those guards there.
I think
he's looking at the hit and roll. I don't hate the hit and roll.
Yep, there's nothing wrong with that.
A bit harder of a shot than the draw, but removing a yellow, I was a good idea.
And maybe Jake likes takeouts more than draws.
Absolutely, you got to play to your team's strengths.
Yep. There's a lot of adrenaline out there right now, I can imagine. This game is close now, and anything can happen.
Brown is definitely feeling some wind in their sails.
Yes.
So, nothing wrong with that.
Not bad. I think it gives yellow something to focus on that's not. Oh, they're going to clear some guards here.
There's a few options you could do with this shot. You could peel the guard. I love the peel.
Yep.
That's probably would be my personal preference. You could also come around and draw.
Yep.
Then
put another rock
you might
you
might force Brown to come in and actually try to run back their own or peel a guard.
Sure.
It's not a bad choice either. If they came in and they put a yellow top 4 foot, I mean, I don't know what else they would do. They'd have to play to run back.
Right. Looks like they're settling.
I love ignoring the corner there, the red on the side of the rings. That's basically out of play. Ooh, a little bit wide here. This has got to come up for him quite a bit. This is coming. This might split the. Oh. Didn't do much, but it made their shot maybe a little bit better. Now they're completely covering the pin, and Brown is going to have to move that rock. Absolutely.
That looks, that puts them in a tough situation.
They might elect to do that same shot to take out through the center there. They're looking to
They've seen it once.
They've seen it once. They're looking to put another one in the top 4 there, maybe set up another opportunity for a run back here.
Let's see what they decide.
Shorter run back than that longer one.
It's good to give yourself options, especially early in an end.
It's hot. They might want to go for a plan B or B here and tick off their own.
I think yep,
looks like they're calling for it.
They're trying to see if they can keep it on there, but it looks like it's already curled further than.
Ooh, just over curled.
Really close.
Jake's had a great game here today, though.
He really has.
Got to be happy with his curling.
I think everyone out here really should be happy with how they've played this weekend.
Absolutely. A lot has to go right to get in the spot here today.
Absolutely. A lot of hard work. If you're still watching, thank you for hanging out with us. This is the most exciting time of the game. So I hope you're still here and enjoying some curling. That moved more than they were hoping, but I think they don't mind. Well, I heard somebody swear. I guess I don't know that it was why they swore.
Little opportunity here for Brown to either freeze or hit and roll behind a pair of guards.
Definitely.
Right next to the center line.
And that's what looks like the colors.
They're electing for the freeze. I like the freeze. Maybe just a tiny tap. A tiny tap to get shot stone.
Definitely.
Nothing wrong with the freeze, though.
Little tap, and if they have that tap and they roll behind a little, like, I don't mind that either. They've got some wiggle room here. This is coming in nice. Sweepers are calling weight, making sure they know what to expect.
Just cleaning it, making sure it hangs on line here.
And they want to make sure they get just a little tap. Oh, that curled more than they thought.
Anyways, that's a good shot, though. Nice draw.
They're in a nice place there.
A little more sweeping might have. They got to wick off and be behind the guard and maybe also shot, but it's a good location for them.
Sure, and again, they had to make that decision there between it was maybe heavier than they wanted. Do they sweep it to try to hold the line but risk it getting too far back? And there's
caught between a rock and a hard place.
Exactly. A lot of decisions you have to make on the fly in these moments.
Looks like they're electing to throw up almost a guard, but in the rings. I like the call.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
And if it goes a little bit heavy and they freeze on their own, that's totally fine. I think there's some wiggle room here on how they control.
I think they want to be in play just to give Red another thing to think about.
This one is looking really good. It might come into the rings a little deeper than they were hoping, but I think it's going to turn out great in terms of the strategy. Oh, yeah. No, it looks perfect.
Yeah, I think they're...
Oh, my gosh. Lovely shot.
Really nice. Really nice guard. Red has to decide what to do here.
Looks like they're going to elect to play the run back.
Yeah, I like that. I think the nose
run is great.
They might lose their back red.
That's okay, though. I think that's worth risking to get that one off the pin.
Sure. So they've still got a couple rocks left. Nice delivery here. They're holding the line the best they can.
Ooh, they got to hold this one.
Oh, so close. They hit their own.
Opens up the red run back to the button. Yeah, they're looking at clearing that out. They're also looking at coming in again.
think they have a couple good options here.
Absolutely.
They can
Now
take
they're-
away that run back in
Yeah.
multiple ways.
Yeah, I don't personally. I think I like the outturn draw to freeze on the back red, or kind
I
of
like that.
you know.
Yeah.
They're elected to
They've
go with the center guard,
settled on a
basically
guard.
preventing the run back again. So
You could basically guard in front or behind that rack to prevent the run back. Or like you said, there's the draw option to freeze on the red. Lots of options, and they're trying to stay safe here, I think.
Another yellow in play is going to be good for them.
Absolutely.
They can't really put this in too bad of a spot. They're sweeping this one pretty hard, but I think it's going to work out just fine. Just another yellow on the center line.
It's a nice weight. It's a nice guard.
It's coming, and it is taking away that run back, that red run back.
Yep. Which they wanted
Worked out
to do.
very good.
There's always your plan A and your plan B, and sometimes a few more plans that can happen. It's turned out well.
They are looking at the run back here.
Never try this again.
They're looking to actually cross the face on it and leave their red in the back rings. That way their shooter will spill out to the sides.
If they can keep their red in
If they
there.
could keep their red as a center guard, I think that's more ideal. Because that means that there is multiple options for them to get to the center of the house with their last.
Yeah.
The main thing is just moving that yellow off the pin. Doesn't matter too much where their shooter rolls to. And in my opinion, that back red and the back four is like almost out of play. Like,
Sure.
I'm thinking that yellow will be able to draw that 4 foot. You never know, though. You never know. You got to make a shot, like I said earlier.
Right. The other two finals games have wrapped up now. This is the last game on the ice.
This one looks pretty good. This one looks really good. They're hammering it. Oh. Hey, they got a job done. They removed that red, and
Yep.
now there might actually be a bit of a gun on that. On those
Yeah.
2 guards there, so they might be able to run back, hit
Yeah.
red, yellow, red, and then right onto that shot
Sure.
stone, and
I think they're looking at that and they're saying,
let's guard it up.
Yeah, let's put something in the way of that.
So I think no matter where they put this rock, there's going to be an opportunity for Brown to draw and hopefully, make this game come down to the last shot.
Definitely.
Make them make their last.
You always have to make the last shot.
That's why those skips rocks are so important.
And setting at the end is really critical if, as a skip, you want to not make a critical shot.
They say one of the old sayings of curling is the game goes how the lead throws.
Oh,
And
I like
basically what that means is that if your lead misses their shots, you're always chasing.
Yeah.
You're always trying to make more hard shots. But if you
This is exactly what they called a great shot.
the run back still might be there actually. So
Do you think that's better than just hitting out the shot rock? Looks pretty open for the hit there.
yeah.
You could roll behind.
Not too many amazing options here, honestly, but
options
yeah, but
nonetheless.
there's options nonetheless. Yeah, I think probably the best thing to do is tap that yellow like 1 inch
Sure.
and be shot right on and be as
Without
close to
leaving
frozen as
yourself
possible. Yeah,
exposed. Okay, I like that.
but maybe they it's pretty difficult to see on the stream right now, but they're lining up these guards. It's hard for me to say exactly how these are going to go once they hit it based on my angle of the ice right now, but it looks like they really think that there's a double opportunity because they have to get both of these yellows out.
Definitely.
In order to say that I want to actually do this shot.
Yep. And this being a really critical shot, we got another member of the team coming down to kind of chat about it. They want to make sure they're making the best choice here.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the game, they've called their shot pretty quickly. And when you get down to the end like this, sometimes you do need to take a little bit more time and talk through your options. This line has been curling a little bit more than they expected on some of their last shots. So coming down to the shot rack.
I think it's possible.
Oh, I think it's possible.
Yeah.
I just think they'll need the right room because they've just had to sweep for line quite a few times here on this line.
We got some comments on our frog in the background.
Oh, yeah, we've got Biff the Frog. That's Frogtown's mascot. Biff the Frog is going to cheer on and congratulate whoever wins this game and thank everybody for hanging out.
They are electing to do this. I would call this quadruple run back.
I love it.
Pretty exciting. They're going to have to come with some real heat here in order to make this one. So
I can't wait to see this as a GIF later on.
Here he goes. Oh, and they're sweeping hard.
Get on it right away.
Really hard.
They don't take any chances.
It's close. They're on and off. Oh! It looks like it just wasn't lined up quite close enough. But what an amazing game.
Such a good game.
Two amazing teams.
They're shaking here.
I think we're going to see them again in St. Paul come Nationals time.
Absolutely. I would not be surprised to see any of these teams. I mean, there's a lot more qualifying events to come here. So great game.
I'm looking forward to the rematch.
I am too. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had fun. I know we had fun. We've got 48 viewers right now. I love that. What a good game.
Hopefully we can see all 48 of you around the Frogtown Curling Club or another under 5 event in the near future.
I would love that.
The in-person experience is like nothing else.
It's great. And just ask any curler. They'll help you understand if you have any questions.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Yeah, this is Tony signing off.
And this is Caitlin signing off.